Hello and good morning. I'm going to check that I'm live in the right place. The sun is actually out. If you live in the UK, you'll know the really chilly weather we've been having has dramatically changed. We've gone from being freezing cold for over a week, and now the sun has come out, it's got mild, it's turned very damp, so it's very wet outside. And the stream is really flowing, as well as a lot of water coming through. Let's just check I'm live in the right place while I'm waffling on. So it is nice to be feeling a little bit toastier in the house and not having to keep the little fire, the log burner going. So, because that can be a challenge when you're in and out all of the time. Okay, I'm live in the right place. Not very central, am I? Let's just enlarge. Who is joining me this morning? Good morning, Lucianne. How are you doing? How are you coping with children being off school? I bet they're excited for Christmas, aren't they? Okay. I know I've got no jumper on today. I've actually got a t-shirt and a shirt open because it's been sort of pretty warm. Even in the house this morning, got up and our ensuite was 22 degrees. And Jason said, maybe we should switch the heating off or turn it down, but no, let's just leave it on. Let's keep it toasty. What's been happening really is because our walls are so thick, it takes a long time for like the house to heat up. Generally the heating goes on either September or October, and it stays on all the time just to keep the bones of the building warm. And as soon as we get a really cold spell, it does struggle. We keep the fire going. We've not lit the big fire, so couldn't have been that bad. But you just need to keep those walls warm. So, oh, it's Lily's last day today. Gosh. What is today? Tuesday, yes. Ebsy had her last day at nursery last Thursday, I think, and Vivi finished school on Friday, and she was poorly because I had her for a bit last week, just to get her out of the house because she'd been poorly all week, but she was well enough to just go back on her last day, bless her. Well, I hope you're all doing okay. Right, I'm going to switch you down. I have got not a repeat, but I chatted last week about doing something different with the box I created for you. So I'm going to do that today using the same stamps, the Dainty Delight bundle. And what is the other die set? Something fancy, I think it's called something fancy dies, like the labels and the tag. I'm going to be using that one as well because I do love that one. Can't put that one down. And then I've got coffee and card this morning, so I need to be like whizzing off. I'm also super anxious about, there's a guy coming to look at the electric gates, and I was quite cross with Jason. I was like, Tuesday mornings on my Facebook Live, if he can't be faffing around with the gate and ringing my phone and throwing me out of my Facebook Live, so I'm hoping, he said he won't disturb me, but I've put Alfie in the house because obviously he can get out of here. And if someone comes, he will just wonder what's going on. And if I don't go down, he'll freak out a little bit. So I put him in the house, and I'm just hoping that the gate guy doesn't need to press the exterior intercom. He's working on the inside keypad. So yeah, let's just say that I had a little moment with the electric gates last week. It wasn't a great day. Let's just say the word wing mirror and electric gates, and I'll leave the rest to your imagination. So it was a very expensive day, we'll just say that, but we're past it now. We can laugh about it. Nobody was harmed. Okay, Lucianne. Oscar's last day was Friday. Yes, it's going to be very strange for you when you've lost someone so close to you. Any big event is always going to feel really strange, but surround yourself with the rest of your family and you will all get through it together, I am sure. So sending lots of hugs your way, and lots of hugs to your mum as well, Lucianne. Right, let's turn you down onto my desk. Excuse the palm of the hand. I know you're all kind of busy, racing around, trying to get stuff finished. Hoping some of you will be hopping on for the live today. Right, let's get the phone straight today. Let that catch up a minute and we shall see where we are. My phone holder is very crooked. Straighten that up. Have a little zoom and get some light on the subject. So yeah, it's with Vivi not being very well. Sophie's now not very well, although she said she was feeling a little bit brighter this morning. Just gonna move my phone that way a bit. Otherwise my grid paper is like right over the right hand side of my desk. And then I can't get things and things start falling off the desk, which isn't good. Right, let's straighten up a little bit. Lucia, your mum's cooking Christmas dinner for you. Oh, that's so nice. And your sister and her family as well. That will be so lovely for you all to be together. I'm sure you will have a lovely time. Just zooming in a little bit more. So as you can see, could not resist using this again. I have had lots of other new products arrive. I may be able to give you a little sneak peek of a couple, but I physically have not had time to pull anything out. And being that I was like duplicating partly what we did last week, I thought I'd use the same stamps but in a different way. So we've got the Dainty Delight dies here. So they are just absolutely beautiful. You've got the ones that work with the stamps, and then you've got these lovely standalone flowers and stems. Honestly, they are just beautiful. They're £34. The stamps on their own are 24, but if you buy the bundle with the dies, they're 52. But remember, they are not coming until the January catalogue. My catalogues have just arrived with me. So, oh, I've moved my grid. So I will be endeavouring to get those out. I've got some hand delivering to do in the next couple of days. Can't be 100% certain which days that will be. I've got another class. I've got coffee and card this afternoon. I've got another class on Thursday. Trying to fit everything in. In between that, somewhere, I've still got a little bit of Christmas shopping to do. We've got our food shop to do, and I need to wrap some presents. So it's all a little bit crazy, but it's kind of fun crazy. It will all come together in the end. It will be fine. Right. Following from last week, let me show you what I did last week. Got some bits and pieces cut here. So last week we created this sweet card, which we're doing something very similar for my coffee and card today. And then I made this box with either a belly band closure or a way you could slot the front cover down in. But I thought we'd do something a little bit different with this box today and create a different opening for it. So I did promise you that last week, and obviously I'm using different colours, and my colours have come from a Celebration pack of papers. I'm just grabbing them. It's a huge pack of papers. It's called Dandy Designs. Just move that out of the way. Oh my goodness, it's just delicious. The papers in here, they're such fun colours. Got petal pink, I think it's Mango Melody, Calypso Coral, petal pink, Wisteria Wonder. Aren't they just divine? They're very kind of like sorbet-ish. Do go a bit brighter as we go along. So this will be free with a £90 spend. We've got some Coastal Cabana, some Balmy Blue. I think that's Mint Macaron. No, that's Coastal Cabana. Granny Apple Green, one I will struggle with, but I think I've probably got maybe 2 sheets of cardstock in that colour. But look how the colours work so well together. Oh, it's just delicious. I think there are 48 sheets. 48 sheets in this pack. It's a huge pack of gorgeous papers. You will not want to miss out on those. So start your wish lists. Now, I'm sure you've been seeing some sneak peeks of products. So that's where this piece has come from. Right, let us give you some measurements. Now I hope this is going to work out right because I have had very little time over here to prep. So I've got 2 pieces of cardstock. We've got a base for our box, and then I'm going to be doing a lid for it as well. So the base is exactly the same as last week's size. So I'm just going to check on my measurement. It is 6.5 by 6.5. Okay. Good morning, Ellie, my lovely. How are you doing? How are you? What are you all up to? So lid, so that was 6.5. Let's just remind myself, 6.5 by 6.5. Lid in fresh freesia. Oh, yeah, I think that's right. I'm thinking that should be bigger, but it's not. And all will be revealed. But basically, the lid is 6.25 and a smidge. Okay, square. And it's basically a 16th. So it would be 6 and 3/16, 5/16. Let my brain work that out. Yeah. So it will be 6 inches, which takes us to there. And then that bit on the end is 5 little 16ths. Okay. So my actual lid size needed to be 6.25, but I've added on a little smidge to allow for it to actually fit over our box. And I hope that I've written my measurements down right, because otherwise it could all be going belly up. But, you know, it wouldn't be alive without a bit of belly up, would it? Right, what have we got in my box today? We've got some Memento black ink, also using a greeting from the new Something Fancy set, and I've got the dies that go with that. £44 for the bundle, which is amazing. You are going to find so many uses for this, but on its own, this is a standalone die set. You'll get so much use out of it, and it's just £27. And have you noticed something? Both stamps and dies are called the same thing, which is very exciting. Less confusion for us. So, good morning, Janet. How are you doing? Yes, Feliz Navidad. That's the quite right pronunciation. You've got glorious full sunshine, but cold. Yeah, it's definitely gone a bit milder here, which is good, but it's very damp. And I think I'd rather it was not as cold as it's been, but I'd rather it be frosty. Right, let's grab the scoreboard. We've got some scoring to do on here, and then I'm going to do a little bit of stamping, and we'll get this box going. Quite easy to put together. Right, let's get this in so you can see where we are going. So our base piece that measures 6.5 square. Ellie, sorry, just catching up. Ellie, you're at home with everyone today. You've got Secret Santa at work at lunchtime. So you've got Rosemary wrapping your present. Perfect. No Stampin' Up allowed to keep it secret. Right, let us score. What am I doing? Lid, base. At 1.25. I'm just checking and getting my ruler out. 1.25 on each edge. So we're going to score, turn it, 1.25 on all 4 edges. Okay, so we've just got that outer edge at 1.25. Then my lid, we're going to score, just remeasuring that as well, at 1 1/8. Okay, on each side. So exactly the same, and we're going to hope and pray that it works. If it doesn't work, then I will remeasure and redo for you later. So we've done exactly the same, just on each edge. Put that to one side for the moment. I'm going to pop both of those pieces to one side. Now let's do a little bit of stamping, a little bit of die cutting. I've cut a piece here because I want to trim out, got 2 pieces. I'm going to be using that one and I think the largest one of that. But first let's do a little bit of stamping. Right, so both stamp sets I'm using today, they are cling. And this one here is shown slightly smaller than the actual size. So they're shown at 95%. But this, the one I'm using, is quite a large stamp. It's on an E block. Is E, I was thinking it was F then when I said it. So it's quite a large image. I'm going to pull in some scrap, make sure that's wide enough. And then we'll get this one inked up. So we don't need a spongy mat for this one. Oh, I meant to put some hand cream on before I came on the live. My hands are just so dry at the minute. And I'm pretty good with hand cream. I do use it regularly. So I hope you're noticing there that I'm taking my ink to my stamp because my stamp is bigger than my inking surface. So I just find it easier to take it that way. Make sure this is clean and we'll just stamp. Try and save as much paper as we can. Just going to stamp one of those down. Goodness me, this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Don't think we need that again. And then I'm going to put that to one side for a tick. Let's trim that off. Let the Memento ink soak into the cardstock. And then I've mounted up from the Something Fancy, the Happy Birthday word. I really love long skinny greetings like this. I think they just sort of fit in anywhere. What I thought we'd do with this was just something a little different. I'm going to pull in some scrap. Thought we'd do a little bit of heat embossing because I know you all love to heat emboss. And I've got some white powder here and it's still in its pot. I don't have all of my, I use gold the most, so I do put that in one of those clear containers with a spoon, but don't use the white very often. And I love the effect. So we're just using the embossing buddy. I've just got a bit too much on there just to take off any static. I'm going to bring in our Versamark ink. So what have you all been up to? I know it's a really busy time. We're going to ink up. I might do this twice because I need one for after. I'm going to give a lot of ink on there. I don't want to squish them in though, so we'll do one on a separate piece. Give that a nice stamp down. Open this up carefully. Hopefully you can see the Versamark on there. We're just going to pour that on and kind of let it fall off. And then I like to check and make sure there's a really good covering. I think we'll have a little bit more. It is much easier if you can contain this in right, what I'm going to do is just literally fold this up and pour it back in, but I'm not going to do it on my desk because I hate having loads of grit everywhere. I'm just going to grab another piece of fresh freesia. Must have a scrap somewhere up here. It's a big bit, but that will be fine. And I'm just going to do another one and then we can heat them both at the same time. Still got that frog in the throat. I'm trying to avoid the lurgy that everybody's having though. That doesn't look very strong, but we shall see. Powder is stuck to it. Did I do the embossing buddy on there? Doesn't look like I did. Let's just move that to one side. See, sometimes the brain just does not engage. Let's ink that back up again. I like to get plenty of Versamark covered in powder. That doesn't look so great either, but let's see. Like to get plenty of powder on there. I'll just get my little brush on any bits that are kind of hanging in there like that. That looks like that was a complete rock. Actually, where has my brush? There it is. Wondered where it had gone. That looked like a complete rock. We maybe do that one as well and just see what happens. See which one comes out the best. Let's move this powder out of the way. Tip it back in. Put the lid on the Versamark because we don't want anything going in there. And just get the heat tool going. And we'll see, I need 2 of these, but we'll see what comes out better. Let's just give that a flick. Take off any pieces that we can see. I think the first one that I did worked out the best. But let's see how they heat up, because they always look a little bit better when they heat. Once the powder melts, they look a bit sketchy when it's just the powder. Ouch, that's getting hot. You see that changing? Just as it melts it. Always find it so magical. And we'll just do that last one. There we go. Such a quick and easy process. But just makes a really nice... Oops, just wiped that on my trousers. Now I have white chalk all over my jeans. Good morning, Zana. How are you doing? So it kind of missed a little bit of the H, but I'm not going to be too fussy. And that one that I didn't think was too great has actually worked out okay. So just adjust my light a little bit. Right, what I'm going to do... I only need 2. Don't need all of that either. Let's trim half of that off. And we've got a spare in case it doesn't cut out very straight. Let's do a bit of die cutting. And then we can do a little bit of colouring. I'll tell you what colours we're using. So we want one of those. And one of those. Find a bit of washi. So what did I do the weekend? Didn't do a great deal. We had, I had a class, private class here in the morning. And then, so I'm trying to see to line that up and it's hard on an angle. And then I had 2 of the grandchildren, the 2 girls came over. Let's get rid of that bit of washi tape. And had them for a few hours. While Jack and Coles went to do some Christmas shopping. And then we met some friends at Gloucester Quays, which was lovely. We went out, had some drinks, little bite to eat, and we just chatted. What I'm going to do is put a scrap in here. We chatted for ages and time just kind of like ran away with this. I'm going to put that over there just to try and stop any of the adhesive transferring from my plates. Just run that through quickly. Oops, lost the die. When the plates go through, they get incredibly static. And sometimes when you pull off the top plate, everything sort of flies off with it. Yeah, so Saturday night we went out, which was lovely. It's really nice at the Quays. We went into Tank, which is a really lovely, like, I think it's don't know if it's a cider or a beer. Like they focus on craft ciders and beers. But yeah, we had a lovely night out. Right, let us do another one of these while we can. And then Sunday, what did we do Sunday? Not sure. Hello, Kerry. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us this morning. Just doing a little bit of die cutting in prep using the new Something Fancy die set, which is coming in the, just cut that out quickly, in the January mini. Cut out pretty straight, which is good. So Sunday, what did we do? Oh, it was really wet. Really wet, really cold on Sunday, bitter cold. Jack and Alex went out on their e-bikes, so they came here to meet and pick up bikes and stuff, and I thought they were mad. I mean, the ground must have been frozen solid, so... Good evening, Kerry. Yes, sorry. I forget about all of you guys that join in on the time zone, so you must be heading, would you be heading off to bed shortly? So, yeah, so Sunday we did a little bit of a food shop, little bit of Christmas shopping, and then we came back. I can't remember what we did Sunday afternoon. I can't remember. My brain, it's kerfuzzled. Right, let's do a little bit of colouring. Let's pull up a chair. What have I got in my box? Whole host of colours. I get that gold thread out as well. Do I need all of these? I think I just pulled them out because I could. Right, what have we got? We've got SU 500 and SU 700. Then I've got Petal Pink, Pale and Dark. Old Olive, Light and Dark, not pale. And then Fresh Freesia as well. So now I spoke to you about these papers, showed you them. And the green in here is Granny Apple Green, which is quite bright for me, but I feel on the reverse of this sheet, that one there, that kind of, the green is quite pear pizzazz and old olive. So I thought my greenery to go with this, I would stick with old olive for the time being. And it turned out okay. So let's start with doing some, oh, actually, before I start doing that, I need to do a bit of surgery with this. Shall I die cut it first? Let's die cut it first, and then we'll know where we're at. Oh, I thought I was going to have a sit down then. Sit downs these days are very few and far between. So it's this beautiful large die here. I'm just going to give it a little bend round so that it sits nicer on my plate. It fits perfectly around here. I'm going to tape it down, and then so you can see it sits in there lovely. I'll just run that through, and then I'm going to do a little bit of surgery on it, and then we'll trim. Take that tape off, can reuse that again. And then we've got this beautifully cut flower and foliage spray or sprig. And then what we want to do, I'm going to do a little bit of trimming. Where am I cutting? I think, let me look. I'm going to go quite close here. Just chop off from this largest flower round here. Take off that one stem. So that we just end up with a smaller piece. It's a bit more manageable for my project. Right, now we can do a bit of colouring. So we'll just use the fresh freesia, and I'm just going to colour in the largest flowers. Really simple colouring. Add a little of the darker just to the centre, and then wherever Stampin' Up have put like lines on to help with shadows, we'll do this one down here. So Janet, are you still on? Are you having a large Christmas lunch in your new home? Do this one as well over here. Have you got lots of friends coming round? I know you're quite a social butterfly, aren't you? Just add a bit of depth in the centres. Then we'll take Petal Pink. Do I want dark or light? Let's go with light. I like to use the bullet end on my pens. I rarely use the brush tip. So if you're new to Stampin' Blends, these are alcohol markers and they're double-ended, so you've got a lovely brush tip at one end, which is great for getting in fine spaces, but I just find colouring is just really easy with the bullet tip. This is quite a pale colour, but that's fine. And then I think I'm going to take my SU 700, which is quite a bit darker, and just dot the centres of these flowers, and then just add a little bit of like, I'm just dotting shadow around those leaves, petals even, petals. Then the old olive, I'm just going to use the light and just colour in the leaves on here. So we've got, for Christmas lunch, we've got all the children coming, with partners, with children. So all 4 grandchildren will be here. It's going to be lovely. And they're all staying over for the night. So we've all got matching Christmas pyjamas. All of us have all got the same. So it'll be really fun. I'm sure there'll be plenty of cocktail making going on and lots of food eating for sure. You know what it's like. So I've just coloured that one in. I can stand up now. So no real skill to my colouring at all. And we'll just give these a little curl under. Curl that bit and then curl that petal outwards. Okay, so we've just got, given it a bit of life. Then what I'm going to do is pull in, let's grab that sheet of scrap, and I just want to add a little bit of splatter here, and I can't remember which one I used, whether I used the 700 or the 500, but we'll start with the 700 because it's paler, and just a really gentle splat like that will just add a nice background on there. Right, I think we can start assembling. Right, the other thing that I haven't shown you is I've cut myself a piece of pale papaya, a lovely scallop border from the fabulous Cracker and Treat box dies. So these are in the annual catalogue. They're not going anywhere just yet. But I just love the scallop edge. I just think it's brilliant. So let's start putting this box together. So you know what I'm like at waffling, and time will run away. Right, oh, it's hard for me to see. Can't actually see that line, so we're like guesstimating. So I'm going to snip up and take out a tiny wedge, and then I just turn it and do the same. I feel a bit bad for like having Alfie shut in the house, but I couldn't risk the gate man being here. Well, I don't even know if he's arrived. I need to have a look out the window actually and see. He said he wouldn't disturb me, but believe me, if he presses that intercom outside, he will well and truly disturb me, and you may lose me. Can't see anyone out there. So I'll be a bit cross if he doesn't arrive until after I've finished and I've kept Alfie shut in. So we've got notches out of each one. We're going to do exactly the same on the lid. Just going to snip up and take a little wedge. By taking the wedge, it just helps you to kind of get a level edge on your box, which I'll try and show you what I mean by that. Just gives you a bit of maneuverability when you're adhering it. Right, and then we'll just give these a crease. So it's gonna be a busy old week for us all, isn't it? It's all the last minute things that you think, I've got plenty of time to do that. And then you kind of just run out of time at the last minute. And I've got a class on Thursday morning here, so I need to do some prep for that. Right, stretch the back for a minute and have a little drink and get this box base stuck together. Another baddie. I've got a couple of baddies, always called them a baddie. I was washing up. This is where that wedge will help you to get this a bit more level here. That is still popping up a little bit, but because it means you've got an allowance to like push this piece in and bring it down a little bit. Yeah, I was washing up on Saturday lunchtime after my ladies went from my class here, and I nearly dropped. I had 2 glasses that I was putting in the washing up, and I obviously had washing up liquid on my hands and they were a bit slippery. Nearly dropped them putting them in the sink, and then I washed them, put one on the draining board, washed the other, put it next to it, and it fell over onto it and they both smashed. And of course I had a piece stuck in my thumb of glass and gashed my hand as well, and I was bleeding from both and neither would stop. Yeah, but luckily I survived. Hello Kay, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. We're just doing the box I did last week. I'm kind of like redesigning it. So we've got our little base here. Now I'm only using basic white cardstock. You could use, I'm trying to sort of save on what colours I've got at the moment. I'm waiting for another order to come with some more petal pink and other colours in. So I thought I'd do my base in white to save on my coloured cardstock. So it is a little flimsy, and there is a way of double lining this, which maybe we could have, and maybe that's something I'll show you another time about how we like double wore the edges just to make it stronger. But if you've got thick basic white, that would just make it stronger. But to be honest, once the lid's on, it's pretty stable. Right, so that is our base. Now, out of sight, I'm just going to check that my lid, I think we're going to be okay. I think we'll be fine, that my lid is going to fit. Right, so here's my lid. I'm not going to assemble it just at this moment because I need to layer up some pieces to go on it. So I've cut a piece of petal pink at 3 3/4 square, and then the piece that's layering onto it just an 1/8 shorter at 3 5/8 square. Okay. And I couldn't decide which side. I loved both of these sides, but I've kept it with the spotty side up because it has the fresh freesia in it. I've just covered myself in Tombow. So we're just going to layer those two up with a nice even border all the way around. Give my fingers a little wipe. It's so nice to be able to see Mayhill again. It's not grey, it's not foggy, and it's not frosty. You can actually see out of the windows. And then what I'm going to do is take some, should be back in my basket. Oh, I got it out. Take some of the silver twine. This comes in the pack with the gold, although, oh, I can't grab it. My gold is almost gone. So I've used this so much. It just goes on and on. So it comes in a double pack. I'm going to trim off a piece. And then we're going to stick it down at the bottom. I want some glue dots for this. Now, how high up do I want it? About there. So let's just pull off a glue dot. Oh, it's stuck to my scissors. Let's put another one next door to that. I should use my take your pick tool, it'd be easier. What's going on? It doesn't want to come off. Let's just put another one just to make sure. It's a good job it's the back, wasn't it? That it's stuck. Maybe it's because it's warmer in here. Although it didn't get that cold in here really. It's 20 degrees in here today, and it was kind of at that temp almost when it was freezing outside. So we're just going to layer this piece of twine and stick it to that glue dot behind and make sure they're stuck right to it, like that. And then we're going to layer up with this lovely little frame. Just pop on some dimensionals. I'm going like full hog with the dimensionals on this layer because it's the top of a box, and as I said last week, we're not going to be, we don't want it wobbling. Let's put loads on. We're not going to be like putting this in an envelope by any means, so let's just layer up and add some height. And then I'm going to pop that just under and stick that down. Now I'm feeling it should have been a bit higher. I think I might have to move my twine a bit higher. Let's see if it'll come up. Yeah, let's just go a little bit higher and have it straight. There we go. And then I'm going to add it to our box lid. So again, I'm going to pop on some more dimensionals. You're all very quiet this morning. In fact, it is very quiet on here. Hello, Carol. How are you doing? Thanks for stopping by. So we were chatting about how Facebook can be slightly annoying. And when you're like catching up on the replay, let's put another one in the middle there, that it sort of continually throws you out. I do get that a lot, and I don't know if it's like a connectivity thing from my end. I'm sure it must be. But it is a little frustrating when you're trying to watch something. Mostly happens on the replay. and then you get to a certain point and it won't let you go any further. And each time you replay it, you get to that point and then it throws you out again. And I know a lot of demonstrators. Good evening, Kim. How are you doing? Sorry, I missed you coming in there. A lot of demonstrators go live via YouTube and they use other software, but I've not tried that yet. I don't know about the whole changing software route because I feel there's lots of complications that go with that. But maybe I should try like streaming live through YouTube if I can, if I've got enough subscribers. But yeah, something to look into when there's a bit more time maybe. Right, next thing I'm going to add in are these flowers. So just pop a couple of dimensionals behind here. Managed to get some nail polish on, as you can see. My nails are just horrible. So I thought, because I was going out on Saturday, I'd put a bit of colour on them. So I'm just going to lay that one down on the middle of our panel. So pretty. You're all good, Kim. That's great to know. Right, what's next? This one. I'm gonna layer. Can't pick anything up. Layer some of this scallopy edge underneath here. Let's just cut that one off. Oh, my back isn't liking me standing and stooping today. Okay, you prefer YouTube to Facebook? Yeah, I mean, I always upload it to YouTube after, because obviously not everybody is on Facebook and able to catch the replay. But yeah, something I need to learn how to do maybe. Right, I'm just adding a bit of Tombow behind that lovely scallopy border. That happy birthday's a little bit crook, isn't it? Is that glue on there, or is it just where it missed? Don't know. It's a little bit crooked, but never mind. We'll go with it. And then I'm going to layer that over here on yet more dimensionals. So let's figure out where we want them to go. Let's put one on here. Maybe, how much room have we got? Maybe one right next to this twine here. I might just trim off that bottom bit of that stem, so we don't want that getting in the way. And then, because this is going to overhang onto this layer, I need to layer I need to like double height with the dimensionals. I told you I was getting very happy with the dimensionals, so that it brings it up, because this is on a layer already and then we're adding another. So I've just popped two on there, so it brings it all up to one height. And then we can just pop that crooked happy birthday. Let's pull the backs off though, that would help. Pop it down, hide those dimensionals behind. Oh, it is a bit crooked, but hey. And then add on a bow with this lovely silver twine. I think I'm going to have to add this to my list later of more things that I need to get, because I don't want to run out of this. I know I've still got plenty of silver here, but it doesn't go, you know, it does go a long way, don't get me wrong, but when, like, I was making all of my mini crackers with it, surprising how you get through it. Trim off the end. Grab another glue dot and come into the end of this. roll that up, and then I'm going to pop it down here really close to that line, and then pop on my bow like that, so it almost looks like I didn't do them separately, they were done together. Now we'll build up the lid, and it's at this point where we hope and pray that the lid actually fits the box now that we've like spent all this time decorating it. Bit crooky. But the other thing I also wanted to do was just take a couple of little notches. I'm going to use my handmade tag punch. Carol, yeah, a lot of people are struggling with Facebook Lives at the moment. I guess it's a connectivity thing. You know, internet goes up and down all the time, doesn't it? And it's not the best. It's not very stable, is it? Right, what I want to do is measure the width of this panel, which is roughly 4. I'm just going to put a little marker at 2. So I'm measuring from here to here, this like center panel. Just making a little marker in the middle. And then we're going to use my handmade tag punch just to notch out. Can you see that? Hold it up to the camera and you might be able to. Just to take a little like thumb notch to help getting the lid off of the box. And then we'll glue this together. So let's add Tombow to the tabs. And then just make sure it's stuck, hold it for a minute. You know, if you've used Tombow, you know just how strong it is once it sticks. It's an amazing product for what it costs and how long it lasts. I would not change to anything else. Obviously I have got other tape that I use. I am going to be using some of that red tape. We used to sell the red line tape years ago and then we stopped it. And obviously we do tear and tape, the double-sided tape, which is really good. But generally I like my Tombow. I do have Stampin' Seal, which is another product adhesive that we sell, but I just love my Tombow. And I think it's one of those things, if you use it, you'll agree with me, you just get used to knowing how much and kind of how to control it. When you're new to it, you tend to get it on your fingers, don't you, a lot, but it's such a great adhesive. Right. So we have a lid. Now we just hope it fits the box. So we've just got those little notches out there. And the moment of truth, because it needs to be tight, but it doesn't, let's just push that in. That's it. But it doesn't want to be too tight. So that's pretty much perfect. So it comes on and off, but it's almost like you're pushing the air out of it. And the way I've designed this is so that the lid is slightly shorter than the base. And that then means you have got something to grip onto when you're pulling it off, okay? Little bit of a squidge to get it back on, maybe just on the corners, but once it's on there, it sits nicely. And then just to finish, I thought I'd put on a little bit of bling. Now, I'm confused by these because I refer to these as festive pearls, but on the packaging, it says they're red and green pearls, okay? If I show you in the catalogue, I've got the page ready because I just thought, is it me going crazy? It's these, number 4, festive pearls. The number is 159963, which that is the number. But they're called different things, which is slightly confusing. And obviously this isn't a whole pack, you get 200 in here. But they're gorgeous. This is maybe half. a quarter of a pack, half a pack I think, maybe. Can't remember. I think I chopped some off and gifted them to somebody. Right, so I'm just going to have a couple of these lovely silver ones. These are not retiring. They are not on the last chance list. I am pretty sure. Just want to move that one up a little bit. Oh, I've left the glue dot behind now. Why did I do that? I'm pretty sure they are carrying over. Gently lift that up. Put that back on top of the glue. There. If anybody knows that for sure, you can maybe. I'm pretty sure. Let me just have a quick look in the mini catalogue. Maybe that's where I've seen that it's a carryover. Bear with me. Oh, I don't know now. I don't know. Maybe they are on the last chance list, but they're just not reduced. And I don't want to go through that whole list now. Right. I haven't put them in my catalogue as retiring, so need to look that one up. So, yeah, just finished off with a little bit of bling. It's very fresh, isn't it? Very spring. And I love how it turned out. It's a good size box. Again, it will fit that box of Gillian chocolates. But I've done something else to go inside. So let's get on with that. Here's my original. Slightly less wonky happy birthday, but pretty much the same. Let's pull in the next bag of bits and pieces. Got a little bit of scoring to do on here. Right, more layers. We're starting off with a piece of fresh freesia. Thank you, Kay, you like the box, and Kim and Kerry, you all like it. Kim, you like Tombow too. Yeah, I just find such a great strong adhesive, and I love that you get that bit of wiggle room in there as well before it actually sticks. So this piece here, let's just check my measurements. Measures 11 1/4 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to pull back in my scoreboard. This one's going to come together pretty quickly. And I'm going to score it at 3 3/4. Can you see that? Yeah. And 7 1/2. Okay. So we should then have a panel left at the end at 3 3/4. It will probably be slightly longer, and we probably will trim a little bit off, but we've basically made 3 equal size panels, and we're simply going to do a cute little Z fold card. So we're going to take this, fold this panel back. Where's my bone folder disappeared to? Hello, bone folder. Where did you go? Well, I knew I must have had it here. I put it back somewhere that I didn't mean to. Let's grab another. That's bizarre. I'm sure it's probably right under my nose. But I'm not seeing it. How weird. Very strange. It's disappeared. Okay, and then we're going to fold, so we've got that, I'm going to fold this back panel onto it, and this is where we will find we may have a slightly longer edge, which is fine. Brain, that way. Brain engaged. Can you see we've just got a slightly longer edge there? I'm just going to trim off a little smidge. Where's that bone folder gone? That's going to really bug me. Like that. Oh, how annoying. Anyway, I've got another. I don't need it right at this moment. So we've got this little Z fold panel. Are you off? Okay, my lovely. Thank you for stopping by, Kay. Yeah, catch it when it comes up on YouTube. I'll try and get it up there pretty rapid. So take care as well and have a lovely Christmas. Enjoy your time. I know you've got reservations about your feelings, and as I was saying to Lucy Ann, just surround yourself with people that you love, and try and enjoy the festivities as much as you can. Okay, so little Z fold here, and we've got some panels of Petal Pink, and these all measure the same, and they are 3.5 square. Okay, so we've got 3 of those, and then we've got 2 pieces of the pattern paper, and they measure 3 3/8, so they're an 1/8 shorter on each edge. And then we've got a basic white panel, the same size as the DSP, so 3 3/8. So what we're going to do first, let me see what I am doing, is we're going to mount up, let's put everything away, mount up these panels onto the Petal Pink layers. Oh, my back is really not enjoying this position today. And we'll do this one as well, but this one we're going to put adhesive on the spotty side so that we've got a different pattern showing, so we get to see both sides. Doesn't show up so well from the background on this one. And then we're going to pop that one in on the back. And we just have a nice, quite a large even border all the way around the edge of here. It's very quiet on here today. I bet you're all out delivering Christmas gifts and cards, or you're out shopping for last minute things, which is what I should be doing. What do we need to do now? Let's do a little bit of stamping on this one, and then we can pop that centre panel in. Now I chose from the Dainty Delight, I love the Celebrate You greeting. So I've mounted that one on a block, and we're just going to use Memento ink. I'm going to grab my practice piece because I believe, because this isn't photopolymer, I can't see right the way through, but I believe that I have to slightly turn to the left. So let's stamp it straight on the line. Yeah, can you see I need to slightly turn it to the left when I stamp. I do love photopolymer for the fact that you can see where you're stamping. So I'm going to pop that in the middle. I'm just going to slightly tilt it to the left, which will just help it to line in a little straighter. I'm going to pull that scrappy piece back in and do a little more splatting. That on there, a bit of adhesive. Bit of, bit of splatting on that layer. And then we'll stick it down onto the third panel. So we've just got a nice, like, small gap around the edge of these layers. Kerry, you're looking forward to getting this set in January. It is beautiful. You are totally right. It's so pretty. And I think, you know, you can choose your own ways of colouring with this. Watercolour pencils would be beautiful if you don't have blends. You could even use our marker pens, Stampin' Up markers with the blender pens where you take the lid. You could colour onto a clear block and then pick up the colour using a blender pen, because there's not too much colouring to do on here. You could use your blending brushes if you wanted to, just to create a whole like colour wash over them. They're just so pretty, and as it says, Dainty Delight, they are very dainty. Right, let's pop this middle panel in. Centralize it with the other one, and then we're not going to pop this one on for just a minute to think about what I'm doing on here. So I need to cut myself another tag. How much of that? I need another longer bit of a cracker as well, so I want the smaller die for that one. So I'm just going to cut myself one of those, and then I need to use my cracker die just to edge that. So I'll just run that through. I'm going to put a little bit of paper, blank paper over the top of that, just so it doesn't, my plate doesn't mark it. Like that. And then with my cracker die, so I just want some of this scallop, I'm just going to lay that over there, tape it down. I'm going to turn it that way slightly so it's still within the cutting plate, and just run that edge back and forth to get that little scallopy border. So I'm just going to run over the edge and then run it back. Don't need to run the whole thing through. And then we get that piece there. Sort that out after. And how much do we need? About that much. Trim off that half of one and then trim off those. I've got something to show you with the cracker after as well that I did while I was playing with this. I'll keep that bit because that might be handy. And then we'll just glue these together like we did. I don't know why I'm so drawn to a scallop edge. Do you remember when we had that scallop punch? Hey Belle, my lovely, how are you doing? The pastels, I was thinking about the pastels, yeah. I've just heard a door go on a van, bear with me. That could be the gate guy. Please don't ring my phone. Please don't press the intercom outside. Just stay outside until I've finished. Yeah, I was thinking about the pastels using the cotton bud, and it was you that kind of inspired me to do that. So yeah, great call there. Right, I'm going to pull back in. Do you remember this other half, the top half of those flowers that I cut? I'm going to trim off that rough edge. I'm just going to add a bit of colour. Using the fresh freesia. Colour those larger flowers in with that. Oh, I'm standing up colouring. That is definitely not good for the back. Sit down. Add just a little bit of like depth at the bottom. And And then let's take the SU 700 because it's a bit deeper, and just like fill in these flowers. Let's dot some little bits in here as well, delicately. Maybe these. I'm literally just like dotting, I'm not really colouring. I need some colouring in lessons. And then we'll just use the light old olive for the foliage. I'm not going to add any depth or colour to those, they don't really need it. There's quite a lot of foliage on here amongst these flowers though, it's surprising. I missed a couple. That will do nicely. Curl those under. Curl those out. Add dimension, of course, because this is going to fit inside our box. So we can add, got plenty of scope inside our box, so we can add as much depth as we want to. So I'm going to oh, we need to do a bit of splatting on here. Running out of room. So again, this is the SU 700. I've pulled out the darker one. I think I might have used that. This one. SU 500, but this one seems to be doing the same job, so let's add some dimension behind here. Oh, I love these mini dimensionals. Have I ever told you that? Look how easy the backs come off, and I have no nails. They're amazing. Right, now I just want to pop this, I guess central, top to bottom, but just in from the left. Try and get it straight on those dots, otherwise it will play tricks with your eyes. Kerry, you like to use the blends for colouring. I know, aren't they amazing? I wish we had like more colours. I'm being greedy now, you know, never have enough. But there are certain colours that you can't get, and you have to make do with another shade of that colour, which is okay, but there are times when I just want that precise colour and not something that's very similar to it. And I understand why they don't do every colour in a Stampin' Blend. Right, we're going to pop that on here like that. So we've got quite a bit of height going. And then do the same again with our greeting. So I'm going to pop a couple of dimensionals there, and then I'm going to double height with that one. That's bothering me as well. That was someone at my class on Saturday. Took a random one out in the middle of the sheet. But OCD, honestly, it's not great. And then I'm just going to pop that, hide this little scaggy edge, rough edge, and just pop that down like that. Then, more dimension. I told you, this card is going to pop. Let's just add one there for good measure. Hopefully it won't get in the way of something else we're doing. But what I want to do first, before I pop this layer on, so I'm going to have this lovely little cute fold. I want to take some twine and I want to add it around my card. So I've got this tape that was in my adhesives drawer. I know where it came from. It came from my lovely friend Rita, who is sadly no longer with us, but her daughter wanted me to have some of her things, so I am working my way through. Oh, might leave that on there just for a mo actually. Some of her stamping stash. Bless her heart. So what I want to do with this, I need to allow, I'm going to allow for plenty, I think. That should be enough just to tie a bow at the end. And then we're going to wrap it around. So if I cut it, is that right? My brain is, that's right, Kerry. Always questioning myself, is that right? I don't think I quite need it that long. Let's make it a little bit shorter. Okay, so got a piece that goes around here, like this. I'm going to leave it there, pull off that tape again. Gets very static. Try and have it roughly in the middle, like that. And then I'm going to take another piece of tape and just stick it over the top. But I'm not going to take the red bit off. Oh, stuck my nail to it. I might make that just a little bit shorter. It's super sticky, this tape. I'm just going to stick it over like that. Okay. Then take the backs off. There's this layer. I can hear a lawnmower. I'm sure I can hear a lawnmower. Surely that's not a lawnmower. Okay. I'll pop that one down on there. So we've got this running through. It's attached behind, so it's not going anywhere. Hello, Chris, my lovely. So nice to have you join us. Don't never worry about being late because the replay is always there. So I've just made, you'll need to catch up, go back on the replay to get the measurements to recreate this. I've just made this sweet box and we're just making a card to go inside it. And this is following on from last week's live where I made a box with the same size base, but we did a different lid. But it's lovely to have you here. And all we're going to do is tie a little bow. It's quite slippery, this twine. You've got to hold it tight when you're tying. And then keep pulling. And then we've got this cute little, so that bit goes around the back. That bow's gone a bit funny, but got to pull it really tight and then hold it tight in the middle. So we've got this cute little card. I didn't know whether to put some bling on here to match the box. And then as you can see, that goes inside nicely. You could pop, won't need to put the lid on. You could pop a gift card in there even. But how cute. I just love this. And I feel like this is going to be, there's going to be an extension to this as another class as well. So the card just opens out like that. So just really fun. You'll get 2 of this base layer from 1 sheet of A4. So, and then that just ties up. But how sweet are these colours? They're like very sorbet-ish, aren't they? Very sorbet. Let's make a bit of space. And the only ink pad we used was that and the Versamark for our heat embossing. So yeah, I was really pleased with how they turned out. So love the colours. They are very me, the colours, aren't they? Very Kerry, as you would say. Oh, let me show you the little cracker that I made. You know how much I just adore. Let's get rid of that bit of tape on there. This cracker die. I love all of the elements that go with it as well. So all of the bits and pieces, all the little labels and the banners, they're just priceless. Use those all the time. And I just created, using the same papers, this little cracker. Now, this is almost normal. Let me find a standard size one. Maybe it's a bit shorter. It's roughly about the same length as a standard one. But what I've done is I've created an opening in the middle. A bit of a job to get it back in, and I did it a bit wrong, but I wanted you to show you. Look at the little tag. I wanted you to see these beautiful papers, and this cracker is definitely not just for Christmas. But what I did wrong really was I cut half of a cracker. Let's get the die back. I cut half a cracker in basic white and cut half a cracker in the pattern paper and then just a strip. And obviously, rather than joining them together with that strip, which you could do, you could just join them and make it whole and then have your opening at the end. And I put the strip around, and because I haven't stuck the strip in line with that bottom DSP, when you try and put them together, as soon as you get to that point, it's touching this piece of paper inside and won't let it go in any further. But it's okay, it's fine. I guess we'd still get a lipstick in there. Let's check. Don't know. It doesn't close. If you can get a lipstick in there, you get a lip balm in there. So, and it still stays together, but it needed, only just see, it needed to go in a little bit more. So let's maybe think a bit better about when you're putting this piece of pattern paper on the strip, like the band, it needs to be flush with that inside layer. So maybe make this one a little bit bigger. But I just think these papers are so cute, so sweet and so pretty. So yeah, I was really pleased with this pack. So a little reminder, they are in the Celebration catalogue. You get a whole 48 sheets in there of those, and they're just beautiful colours. So I love them as much as I love these, the Country Gingham. I just love them. I'm going to be having so many packs of that paper. I'll never want to let it go. So anyway, I really must dash. What time is it? 5 to 11. And I have to go out for coffee and card by about 20 to 12. So time for a quick coffee. I need to pack my bags because we are using same products. We're going to be using the Dainty Delight at my coffee and card today. So I thought it was a bit too close to Christmas to do anything else Christmassy. So we're doing something very spring-like. So thank you so much all for joining me. Belle. Kim, you love them. Perfect little project. Thank you. Carol, you love it all. So cute. Thank you. Belle Belle, could you fold the pattern paper back to get the reverse before cutting half a cracker? Well, why did I not think of that? That's super, super... My brain would not even register that thought, but that is a very good idea. So basically what Belle is saying is when you cut this panel from your cracker, let me grab it. So I would probably be tempted, I've used half of it with the DSP, you can't really see, but cut it longer and then just fold back. Have I got any of this paper left? Yeah. So basically, if you cut, you know, a piece like that, and then this edge, you would just turn over like that to reveal. That would work, definitely, Belle. Love that idea, thank you. See, look, you just inspire me all of the time. Thank you so much. Right, anybody else? Thank you, Ellie, you like the projects. Yeah, so you've got measurements for another box now, so different opening on this week. And just think of the things you could put in there. You would get a really nice pair of bamboo. You wouldn't get a thick pair of wool socks in there, but you'd get a nice pair of bamboo socks in there. Probably room maybe for the card as well, but I just think maybe a pocket on here would have been nice for a gift card. It would fit just about, if you made a little pocket, could get a gift card in there. That would be another idea. So, right, I really must go and get on, and I will love you and leave you. Hopefully I'll be here next week. And do you know what's really bizarre? By the time I come back, Christmas will be done and dusted. Monday is bank holiday. Monday is Boxing Day. So hopefully I'll be here Tuesday. We shall see. I'd like to be here. I don't like too much time away from my studio. Get withdrawal symptoms. You all know what it's like. So anyway, yeah, I'm definitely going now. So thank you all so much for your continued support on here. It means so much to me that you stop by and you chat. And I know, because you tell me, for some of you, it means a lot to you as well. So just being able to connect and to catch up with the live. If you're catching up on the replay, please do let me know. And everybody, please have a wonderful Christmas. Stay safe and enjoy the time with your loved ones. And I will see you all very soon. So bye for now.